the Oscar nominations announced just minutes ago. Let's bring in CNN entertainment reporter Chloe Melas and host of the Run Tell This podcast, Mara Schiavocampo. Chloe, let's start with Best Picture.
Oh, let's go right there. Is that where you want to go? All right, let's start with the ultimate category. Well, okay, so West Side Story is something that was the dark horse here in this category. I just did not think that West Side Story, Steven Spielberg's musical foray, even though he was nominated for Best Director this year, it didn't do very well at the box office. But, you know, he is a fan, you know, Academy Awards, they love Steven Spielberg. I also want to talk about King Richard. Coda, it's a movie that I actually just finished this morning. It's a movie about a young girl who is the only hearing child in her family. Everyone else is deaf. It's an incredible movie. It did really, really great at the film festivals.
You know, what I think is really interesting is that typically you have these big box office smashes that get viewers really excited. They get people excited about the Oscars. The best performing movie of the last year was Spider-Man, but nobody really expected that to get a Best Picture nomination. So you're left with a lot of movies that didn't have the impact of, say, a Titanic or a Spider-Man. So I think one of the biggest contenders is Power of the Dog. Now, this is a movie from Netflix, so this would be the first Oscar for Best Picture from any streaming service. It has been killing it in early award shows. It killed it at the Golden Globes. So I think we may see the first win for a streaming service.
It is so good. It's a dark Western.
Yeah, it's really uplifting. It leaves a giant smile on your face after you see it.
Cumberbatch is really good. And fun fact, Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons, who also both star in the movie, they're actually together and they have 2 children together in real life. I do want to point something out.
Tons of laughs.
This is a big deal this morning for Will Smith. Will Smith nominated for Best Actor for his role as the father of Venus and Serena Williams, as Richard Williams in King Richard. This is his first nomination for an Oscar in over a decade. He's been nominated twice before, once for Ali, playing Muhammad Ali, once for The Pursuit of Happiness. This could be his first time. This could be his year to win an Oscar.
Yeah, and also fun fact, in 2002, when he was up for Ali, he also went up against Denzel Washington, who has been nominated in this category for Macbeth.
I didn't know that.
But Denzel took it for Training Day, so it'll be interesting to see if this is.
I'm going to go see Training Day. That's what's going to happen for the Oscar nominations days. I'm going to go see Training Day again.
That's not.
We have a whole list of things you've got to get through.
All right, also just real quick, back to Best Picture. I'm all about Dune. That thing surprised the heck out of me.
Oh, so you're a sci-fi girl?
No, I'm not. That's the point. And I loved it. I loved it. Okay.
Timothy Chalamet is so good.
The whole thing was great. Okay, so we went through actor. Let's look at actress in a leading role here.
Oh,
shall
okay.
we?
I was so excited but shocked that Kristen Stewart nominated for her role as Princess Diana in Spencer. I have heard mixed reviews of people, what they thought of her in the film. I thought that she was spot on. She looked like Diana. She sounded like her. Tells the story of a really tough weekend for Diana while she is going through this tumultuous divorce with Prince Charles. I thought it was phenomenal. I was hooked watching that. Also, I was surprised to see Jessica Chastain nominated for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. She was so great in that movie, and I was also so happy for Nicole Kidman and being the Ricardos. Again, mixed reviews there, but I think that many people thought she was a shoo-in this year.
Yeah, and in terms of Kristen Stewart, you know, she was the front runner. People assumed that she was going to get nominated and that she was actually one of the top picks to win. And then her momentum kind of slowed down leading up to these nominations. And so Nicole Kidman, who had a late campaign, late December release for this film, really came in with some momentum at the last moment.
Yes. I also just want to also point out someone that I'm really happy for is Ariana DeBose for her role as supporting actress in West Side Story. It's a really big moment for her this morning. Again, West Side Story, if you've seen it and you love it, they have a very devoted fan base. And again, big morning for Steven Spielberg, despite the lackluster performance at the box office, nominated for Best Picture and himself nominated for Best Director, like I mentioned before.
Mara, I just step back here for a second, if we can. You know, people haven't been going to the movie theaters as much, needless to say.
Yeah.
Right, so there's that one thing. Already, even before the pandemic, the movies that were being nominated for Academy Awards weren't exactly the mass market pictures here. So is this obscure within obscure, or is this year, is there more high profile stuff?
You know, everything is topsy-turvy because, as you noted, audiences have not gone back to the theaters at levels that they were at pre-pandemic. A lot of the films that we're seeing nominated were streaming only. And so the movie experience has changed. When you're watching something on your couch and maybe your kids interrupt you 10 times, you have to pause it all the time. that is a different experience than going out to the movie and sitting down for a theatrical release. And so that has changed viewership of these movies. And as you noted, the Academy tends to reward what they see as kind of the more artistic representation of film as opposed to box office hits.
Well,
Here are
the
the
box
best
office hit this year was Spider-Man No Way Home, making over $1 billion at the box office. I loved the movie, and some people thought, is it going to make its way into the top 10? And it didn't. And so, you just don't see those types of movies, although that is what everybody was out seeing.
Any giant snubs?
I think that I'm going to have to look a little closer. As of right now, I was waiting for Kristen Stewart and possibly Will Smith to be daggers to my heart, but thankfully they are not. I think that things are looking really good. Licorice Pizza is a movie, though, that's going to get me back into theaters because it's the only place you can find it. And of course, Encanto nominated for animated movie. Let's not talk about Bruno.
But the song, they did get a nomination for a song, but it wasn't Bruno. How is
Because
this
it was, they didn't put it
possible?
up, right? They didn't put it up.
And we must say,
Yeah.
Queen Beyonce, Queen Bey, her first Oscar nomination ever this morning with a song that she co-wrote for King Richard. So exciting for her. Jay-Z. Actually, Jay-Z got snubbed. He had a song that could have potentially been in that category, and this power couple, they were potentially going to go head-to-head in that category. So there's your
going
snub.
around this week.
Jay-Z's your snub.
All right. Mara, Chloe, thank you very much for that.
The Oscar nominations, they're out this morning, and the Netflix film, The Power of the Dog, is leading with 12 nods. It has a lot of tough competition beyond. I have a lot of work to do because I haven't seen anything.
Jim, it used to be once upon a time that I'd seen all these movies. Now that rarely
Yeah.
happens. Joining us to help explain it all and what these movies are about is Lisa France, CNN Entertainment senior writer. Lisa, when it comes to Best Picture, who could grab the Oscar from The Power of the Dog?
I mean, the list is so impressive. There's Belfast and Coda and Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, West Side Story. They're all up against The Power of the Dog, and they all have their fans, let me tell you. People were so incredibly interested in King Richard, which is about the father of Venus and Serena Williams. Will Smith nabbed a nomination for it for actor in a leading role. Dune, of course, people were so excited for that film to come out. And oftentimes people complain that Best Picture winners are not always the most beloved of films. So lots of people are pulling for Dune. People are pulling for West Side Story also. But I just think it's interesting that a lot of the pictures that got love this year were pictures that were exclusively in movie theaters in the midst of the pandemic. So films like Licorice Pizza and West Side Story.
That's interesting because that's been a battle. So what else stood out? There are a couple of foreign films in that list too.
Yeah, Drive My Car. The Japanese movie industry, lots of people feel as though they make some of the best films, but they're also some of the most underrated films. Don't Look Up, of course, is a comedy. We love to see comedies get nominated for Best Picture. And I mean, making a comedy about climate change, like, come on. It was genius. So, and that scored big for Netflix.
Well, we're going to be watching. Lisa France, thanks so much for walking us through the list.
Absolutely.